Kelly continuing to deputise for the injured Martin Thomas, and their talented midfield player Paul Gascoigne is also out injured. If you're wondering why Mirandinha is not wearing the celebrated Newcastle number 9 shirt, the reason is that Brazilian strikers tend to prefer the number 10 in respect for the incomparable Pelé. Well, I know one man who won't mind that comparison is Liverpool's John Barnes, because he's in their number 10 shirt with the former Geordie hero Peter Beardsley at number 7. That jersey previously reserved for manager Kenny Dalglish, and at one time at both these clubs, of course, for Kevin Keegan. Liverpool, in fact, field the formation that finished Tuesday's match against Charlton, which means Steve Nicol is in midfield and Mark Lawrenson plays at left back, despite wearing the number 9. But you really have to be here to appreciate what football means in the northeast. They've been looking forward to this match for weeks, and Liverpool, in the red shirts, of course, will kick off against a Newcastle side who are modelling a smart new kit this season, but still obviously the distinguished black and white stripes. Alan Hansen getting it forward, then David McCreary. Number 7 on the far side is Stevenson. Hansen again. Number 3 for Newcastle there is John Anderson. That was Gary Gillespie beating Mirandinha in the air. Kenny Wharton, number 8. Now, number 2, Neil MacDonald on the far side. Mirandinha on the penalty spot. He might... Too high for him. He scored with his head last week at Old Trafford. Here's Barry Venison. Steve Nichol's gone forward well. Beardsley's in the middle, so is Aldridge. A little push and shove. John Aldridge getting involved. The Newcastle player concerned was, I think, Peter Jackson. And there were gestures exchanged there between Aldridge and Jackson. The save was made by young Gary Kelly down at the near post. Aldridge to Barnes. Now Barry Venison. Hodges. Wharton to McCreary. Stevenson. McMahon for Liverpool. Well, as yet we haven't seen much in the way of goalmouth incident, and certainly no clear scoring opportunities. Barnes. And ball by Barnes. That might have been all right for Wyn Davis, that sort of ball, but not for Mirandinha, really. Here's Barnes. Number 7, Beardsley. And there goes Barnes again. Danger here. Aldridge far post. John Anderson and Steve Nicol. What a simple goal for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol puts it away with some aplomb. It's his 4th of the season, in fact, and Newcastle got themselves in a right mess. The sort of start that Liverpool would have been looking for, and Peter Beardsley, against his old club, makes the running here. He finds another of the new players, Barnes. That was really meant for Aldridge. John Anderson's was the mistake. Steve Nichol's was the side foot shot, and the lead belongs to Liverpool. Shot hit Nicol. Roda. found some room here, the Brazilian, and he topped his shot completely. It was almost a pass by mistake to Goddard in the end. But the crowd don't need much to get them going up here, and the side of Mirandinia getting into some useful space there got them very excited. This is Beardsley, who used to get them excited up here. Nicol. And it's Beardsley again. And Barnes is on the far side, and so too is Whelan here. Barnes. He's a prominent threat on that flank. Just under 10 minutes left in the first half. Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1. Here's Aldridge, Peter Jackson's header. Beardsley, Barnes. Play on to a well-placed Keith Hackett. And forward by Jackson. Only to Lawrence. And that made that look easy. Whelan. And again they've got Nicol in front of the strikers, and he was onside, and Gary Kelly had to make 2 decent saves. Steve Nicol there found acres of room. They obviously must have thought he was offside, Newcastle. Nobody went with him at all. And the goalkeeper saved them with a twisting turn and save. Barnes. Aldridge! Foul on the jump, surely. I wouldn't have thought that would count, no. The goal is not given for John Aldridge. But all sorts of excitement there at the Newcastle end, and the defence have not got themselves organised. Mirandinia, Stevenson, Goddard. Mirandinia again. Anderson. That was a nice touch by John Aldridge, but not such a good pass from Steve McMahon. Anderson trying to find Goddard. Gillespie was in. Now Venison. Aldridge thought for a split second there that he kept up his record of scoring in every game. Here's Mark Lawrenson, but there's no doubt which side are running the match at the moment. Beardsley. Nicol. Lawrenson has now found room in the Newcastle penalty area. This is Venison. And here's Barnes. And Aldridge this time, 2-0. 38 minutes gone. Liverpool make it look so easy, and John Aldridge keeps a record going of which Ian Rush would be proud. This is the 8th time he started a league match for Liverpool, Aldridge, and he's scored in all 8. He's made it 2-0 here. It's 6 in 6 for him this season. There goes Beardsley, and that was nearly number 3.
It was indeed. Wherever Liverpool have the ball when they're wide, whether it be deep or in forward positions, players on the other side of the field are looking to make their runs behind fullbacks, and Newcastle really are in total 6s and 7s at the back, and if you can't sort it out from there, you're going to struggle in your play generally.
McMahon. Venison, and now a long run by Ronnie Whelan. Took 2 to stop him. And there's a little bit of unrest among the Newcastle supporters, not surprisingly. I can hear some barracking going on among the spectators around me. There goes John Barnes. And he's onside, Barnes, and right through, and Aldridge again! Good stop by Anderson. Well, it could have been embarrassing, this. It could have been 4 or 5. Anderson was virtually on the line when he stopped it. Lawrence. Offside. Well, Newcastle were carved open again. Just see how much space Liverpool are creating. That's Barnes, that's Aldridge, that's Anderson. And Kenny Dalglish's team will be quite satisfied with what they've achieved in the first half here. Here's Barnes. Aldridge left and Nicol on the right. He seems to be playing in a field of his own. Still Nicol. And he's floated one beautifully. No! A player offside in the 6-yard box means that goal will not stand. What a pity for Steve Nicol. It was a lovely chip. But there was Kenny Dalglish not happy. But I think you'll find there was a player, it may have been Beardsley, or possibly Aldridge. I rather think Beardsley, in the 6-yard area. And I suppose they've decided, the linesman and referee, that he was interfering with play, blocking the goalkeeper's line of vision, and that, I would imagine, is why the goal has not stood. But Steve Nicol executed the perfect chip. Here he is again. Stoppage time at the end of the first half. And it's been a quite traumatic 45 minutes for Newcastle and for their supporters, and a thoroughly satisfactory one from the Liverpool point of view. And there are some there's Steve Nicol, but let's just see again what happened as John Barnes brought that ball away from Stevenson. Now look where Anderson is. He's had to go in, and you'll see that Nicol has almost got a pitch of his own out here. He then turns back very nicely. Watch the player in the middle. And there was, when the chip actually was delivered, the first player, Aldridge, in my view, was in an offside position. Although Beardsley came into the picture later, it looked like Aldridge to me who was flagged, and that was why the score remained 2-0. And the teams are on their way from the temporary dressing rooms, which are in fact housed in porter cabins while this ground redevelopment goes on at St James's. At the Leazes end there, you can see the temporary seating, almost like the 18th hole at the Open Golf up there, isn't it? In the short term, anyway. And then as you come round to the near side, from which we're broadcasting this afternoon, the famous old stand, built in about 1910, has gone. There's the building site. And the £4 million new structure is going to go shooting up there, they hope, in the next 2 or 3 months. And in fact, the completion date is scheduled for as early as January. When the stand will then look across to that other main grandstand on the far side, and the ground will look spick and span again. But the club have done very well in the meantime, rehousing season ticket holders and so on. What their team need to do now is to produce something on the field to turn round this rather demoralising half-time position for Newcastle United. All sorts of talking points from a Liverpool point of view in the first half, and I suppose one of them is that Steve Nicol could quite easily have had a hat-trick. One disallowed and one saved by the goalkeeper, and having quite an inspired spell after missing so much of last season with injury, Steve Nicol. About to take the throw. Here's Peter Beardsley. Nicol again. McMahon's in there. So too is Stevenson. McDonald forward. Lawrenson. And now McMahon, and there's space again in front of the Newcastle back four here. Nicol. Venison. And Whelan. Again. Barnes. And again Nicol. Liverpool's passing so assured. Beardsley. Creary gets a foot in, much needed. Hodges. And Gillespie came to beat Goddard. Quickly taken free kick. Nicol once again. Header out by McDonald. Oh, not very far though. It's Ronnie Whelan going through. Hodges. Anderson. Well, I saw Liverpool win impressively at Coventry. I also saw them beat Arsenal on the season's opening day, and they appear to be onside. Beardsley. Nichols in the centre, completely unmarked as yet. There he is again. 3-0. The 3rd minute of the second half, and the game goes even further beyond Newcastle, and their old hero Peter Beardsley stabs them through the heart here, finding so much room on the left wing. And Steve Nicol, the man who can do no wrong it would seem, finishes off again to make it Newcastle United 0, Liverpool 3. And what I was saying about Liverpool's away form is that they're turning these matches into home games. Largely they've had to, because they haven't played many at Anfield in view of their problems there with the ground. But they're just taking the match to the opposition, and it's coming off. Obviously, it's the players on the field who are being destroyed here. There goes Aldridge from McMahon, and Peter Jackson able to clear. But John Aldridge very nearly plundering number 4. The Liverpool supporters, who are in the bottom left-hand corner there, are having a wonderful afternoon. Corner to Liverpool. Here's Lawrenson. McMahon. And Lawrenson's in here. Blocked by Kenny Wharton. Lawrenson trying to steer it into the far corner. And a foul. Al Hansen tangling with Mirandinia. And the free kick given his way. Beardsley. Nicol, Barnes. Beardsley. Nicol again. Well, the midfield players finding goal-scoring positions one after another, Steve Nicol.
They certainly are. The Newcastle midfield just aren't picking up the midfield runs from Liverpool at all. And the Newcastle defence is just becoming totally overburdened.
They're making a change now. Darren Jackson is going to come on to replace Glyn Hodges. Supporters somewhat bewildered by their expression as to what's happened here this afternoon. They came full of expectation, as they so often have in the past, the Newcastle followers. Now Mirandinia, he's away, and Gillespie's trying to get to him, and penalty. Gillespie on Mirandinia. A rare defensive error by Liverpool let him in the first place. Gillespie seemed to catch up with him. Mirandinia went down. You might have your own views at home, but Keith Hackett had no doubt whatever. He pointed straight to the spot, and Mirandinia may have got something here for Newcastle. Gillespie was the offender, and the opposite number 2, Neil MacDonald, is the penalty taker. Robillard not on his line at present, because he's saying the ball isn't quite on the spot. Here's MacDonald. Put away well. 3-1, and hope for Newcastle. Just what they wanted. Some sort of encouragement, and it's been provided really for the fans by the Brazilian. He found a way through, and that challenge on him has perhaps given his team a lifeline. Aldridge releasing Nicol on the far side, Beardsley in the middle. It's still Nicol, he's gone all the way, and that is the hat-trick. What a tremendous personal performance by the Liverpool number 4, the Scottish international. Well, he scored the winner at Arsenal on the opening day of the season. He got 2 at Coventry, and now he scores 3 at Newcastle. And makes it 4-1 in the 66th minute. Well, Malcolm McDonald got a hat-trick in that game I referred back to in 1971. It's a Liverpool player that gets 3 here today. Clean tackle by Hansen, but he's kept possession. Barnes this time. Wharton. And Mirandinha. Surely. Goddard, no! Body's in the way. Anderson. McCreary. Darren Jackson. McDonald. Well, chances there for 4-2, no question, but Liverpool got defenders back and they blocked the efforts of Mirandinha and then Goddard. Just continuing where I left off, if Steve Nicol wasn't quite classed as a star before this afternoon, he's certainly one now. Not a bad occasion on which to score a hat-trick from midfield. Time perhaps for one more Liverpool attempt. Barnes finds Beardsley. Aldridge makes the run across. Oh, it nearly went straight in. Aldridge took the attention of Glenn Roeder, but fortunately for Newcastle, not that of Gary Kelly, who kept his eye on the ball. Otherwise, Beardsley's effort would have curled in, perhaps. Here's McMahon. Whelan. Barnes. And again. Venison gets the free kick. Well into stoppage time now here at St James's. There were a couple of injuries which mean that Keith Hackett has added on a minute or two. Here's McMahon. Spackman. Whelan. And there it is. The home fans disappointed. 3 successive defeats here for Newcastle United. But for Liverpool and Steve Nicol in particular with a hat-trick, another fine performance and another result which will make the rest of the First Division sit up and take notice. They've now got a record of 5 wins and a draw in their 6 league matches so far, Liverpool. They're in 3rd place. John Aldridge got the other goal. They have 2 games in hand of the teams above them, Queen's Park Rangers and Tottenham, and they're being applauded off very generously by Newcastle supporters as well as Liverpool fans, because that really was a championship-type display. Let's hear from the man who scored 3 goals today, Steve Nicol, who's with Bob Wilson.
Steve, only 6 league games gone, and yet your name appears with 6 goals. What's going on here?
Well, I think that's all down to my teammates. You know, I'm getting in the right place and they're putting it through. So as long as I keep it going, I'm quite happy.
I think when Ian Rush was here, everybody expected Liverpool to play in a certain way. It does appear now that there are more options open to players like yourself.
Well, everybody's trying to do a wee bit as well as stick in with the team. So, I mean, at the moment, we've only had 6 games, I think, and it's early days yet.
Congratulations. Thanks very much.